Good, happy Friday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast. Let's get started. First up, death of Concord girl, 3 ruled homicide. The March death of a 3-year-old Concord girl has been ruled a homicide. Spruce Street closed while Manchester police conduct investigation. Manchester police said they found a possible meth lab at 486 Spruce Street and have closed the road while they investigate. Brady announces he will no longer appeal Deflategate suspension. Patriots quarterback Tom Brady has announced he will no longer proceed with his Deflategate appeal. AG Chesterfield man died of wound to neck. A man who was found dead this week in Chesterfield died of a deep concussion to the neck, investigators said Friday. Pedestrian fatally struck in Lindenborough. Police are investigating a fatal accident involving a pedestrian in Lindenborough. NASCAR invades Loudon for race weekend. Fans are flocking to Loudon to celebrate race weekend at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. First in the nation primary status unchallenged by foe on key GOP convention committee. New Hampshire's first in the nation primary emerged unscattered Thursday from what could have been a distress day before a powerful Republican National Convention committee. Uber delivering free frozen treats to celebrate National Ice Cream Day. The popular ride-sharing app is delivering cold treats Friday to celebrate National Ice Cream Day. Jogger attacked with pointing shears in Town Park. A seasonal Plymouth Park Department employee was arrested in connection with a stabbing of a jogger inside a town park. Trump confirms pick of Indiana Governor Mike Pence as running mate. High-rise penthouse has private theater, floor-to-ceiling windows. It's called the Penthouse in the Sky and boasts sweeping views over Manchester and beyond with floor-to-ceiling windows. Police search for truck driven by a man suspended with attempted abduction. Police in Brettonwood released on Friday an image of a pickup truck that they said was responsible for filming of the truck driven by a man who attempted to abduct a 10-year-old boy this week. Loons die after eating lead fishing tackle at New Hampshire Pond. The New Hampshire Fish and Game Department says 2 loons have died from eating lead fishing tackle. Dunbarton police seek armed, dangerous Hooksett man. Police in Dunbarton are searching for a man wanted in connection with a burglary. Turkish Cup leaders take over state TV to say they're imposing material law. Let's take a listen to this video from ABC News.
Use Purex detergent and Clorox products together for the ultimate clean. This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, David Muir.
Good afternoon, I'm David Muir at ABC News headquarters here in New York, and we are coming on the air with breaking news: an apparent military coup now unfolding in Turkey. Turkish state television has been seized by the military. martial law imposed across the country. Reports of low-flying jets and gunfire. And of course, Turkey is a major U.S. ally and a key military partner in the Middle East. We do know at this hour that on Turkish state television that we just mentioned has been seized. A presenter has just read a letter from a group calling itself the Turkish Peace Council, imposing martial law. It is not clear who's behind the coup. It is clear who is not. Reports say the chief of army staff is in detention. Now, the U.S. State Department tweeting moments ago that U.S. citizens in Turkey should shelter in place and stay indoors. Update family and friends of your status when possible is what they're urging. I want to bring in our chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl. The White House monitoring this very closely tonight, John.
David, we have just been informed that the president has been notified of developments in Turkey and is closely monitoring. This is a shocking development, I can tell you, that has taken senior White House officials by complete surprise today. Turkey is arguably the most important U.S. ally in the fight against ISIS, with the long border that it shares with Syria. Turkey is the site of the Incirlik Air Base, which is the launching point for almost all of the U.S. Air campaign against ISIS in Iraq and in Syria. So this is a crucially important development, and U.S. officials here, frankly, are trying to figure out what's actually going on the ground.
You make a very strong point there, John. A key U.S. ally, in fact, one of the most important in the region in the fight against ISIS with the United States. I want to bring in our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, who joins us on the phone. And Martha, early reports that the Turkish Peace Council is behind this. The White House no doubt scrambling to figure out who in fact that is and what their motivation might be.
That's exactly what's going on, and especially, as John pointed out, how many military we have in Turkey right now. About 2,200 U.S. troops there in Turkey, as well as countless U.S. citizens right now who are sheltering in place. There are 1,500 U.S. troops at Incirlik Air Base, as John pointed out. Those are the men and women flying those air missions into Syria, into Iraq. It's made it much easier to go after ISIS from those military bases. And if you're in chaos right now, that certainly complicates this. You can't be flying missions in and out if you don't have a government in control.
And Martha, you've covered the State Department for years for ABC. When you see tweets warning U.S. citizens to shelter in place, stay indoors, it underscores just how serious this is.
It certainly does, David. And I can't imagine. I mean, all of us have traveled to Turkey recently. You have as well, just even being in one of those hotels or living there on the Bosphorus River, and we hear reports and see reports of tanks lining up, of these fighter jets flying low over Ankara. This is a very serious situation indeed. All
right, Martha Raddatz, John Karl, our thanks to both of you. Again, we are reporting on a military coup in Turkey at this hour. Of great concern because Turkey is a major ally of the U.S., of course, in this fight against ISIS. Early word that certain people could be behind this, a group calling itself the Turkish Peace Council. We will continue to follow these developments. We will have much more coming up on World News Tonight a short time from now. We return you to regular programming. For many of you, that's your local news. I'm David Muir in New York. We'll see you shortly.
Okay, and there you have it on that report. We will keep you updated on this throughout the evening and until we find more information. The penance pick. The time Trump didn't go with his gut. Let's take a listen to this video from CNN.
Tell us what you're hearing.
Well, we're hearing that even after Donald Trump made his formal offer to Mike Pence, and even after Mike Pence had flown from Indiana to New York, Brooke, Trump was still having some second thoughts, to the point where we are told that around midnight Eastern, remember he was on the West Coast, but around midnight Eastern, Donald Trump was calling some senior advisors saying, is this a done deal? Is it too late to change my mind, to back out? And the answer was no. Now, we're not told that he said he wanted to change his mind, but he was definitely sort of not entirely comfortable with that decision, according to people who we talked to. I will tell you that the campaign is pushing back hard on this. as you can imagine. A spokesman says that there is zero truth to this, but we feel confident that this is something that did happen. And if you watch what happened last night, Brooke, in public, Trump was calling in to Fox News, talking to Greta Van Susteren, saying that he had not yet made his decision, saying nice things about Chris Christie, saying nice things about Newt Gingrich. And that was after, according to our reporting and several sources on this, he'd already made the offer to Pence. I think this all speaks to the following, that Donald Trump is somebody who has become Donald Trump because he's gone with his gut, and his gut has led him to the most successful life, both in business and now in politics. And this is a decision that he did not make with his gut. He made it based on what was politically practical, what people around him were telling him to do. And he's not used to following his gut. We'll see down the road if this really watershed moment in his campaign and in his life will bear out his gut being right or listening to what's practical.
Okay, and there you have it on that report. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday evening. Good night, everyone. Bye.